If you're thinking about hiring a marketing agency for your new product, I need to stop you because I've seen way too many product creators blow through their budgets this way with almost nothing to show for it. And look, I totally get why you'd want to hand this off to someone else. If you're focused on developing your product, then marketing probably isn't something you're all that interested in. And it's really hard to switch your brain from building to selling. Engineers, especially, tend to have a very strong dislike of marketing, but even if you don't mind it, it's still a completely different skill set that takes real time to learn. So, the idea of just paying a professional to handle it for you sounds pretty appealing. But for a new product, that decision can easily cost you thousands or tens of thousands of dollars and leave you worse off than you were when you started. You end up with a pile of reports, a bunch of failed ad campaigns, and still no real understanding of how to reach your own customers. So, in this video, I'm going to share with you why hiring a marketing agency is almost never the smart move at this stage. Hi, I'm John Teal. I spent over a decade as a microchip design engineer at TI. Then I developed and launched my own product into hundreds of retail stores, and now I help others do the same. Okay, the first reason to avoid a marketing agency is the trial and error phase is brutally expensive at agency rates. Marketing a new product is nothing at all like marketing an established one. There's no proven playbook, no validated messaging, and no confirmed audience, so everything is an experiment. An agency charges you their full rate while they run these experiments, typically charging you $3,000 to $10,000 a month, and that clock is ticking whether the experiments work or not. They'll test ad copy, try different audiences, and run campaigns, and most of it will fail. That's completely normal when marketing something brand new, though, but you're paying premium rates for that failure. And those rates don't go down just because the campaign didn't work. When you run those same experiments yourself, the trial and error phase costs you time instead of your money. And for an early stage product, that money is everything. The agency has no idea what's going to work for your brand new product, so they just start blindly testing. You could run the same experiments for just the cost of some small ad test and a few hours of your time each week. And that money you're saving on agency fees could go towards things that actually move the needle at this stage, like improving your prototype, paying for tooling, getting through certification, or paying for ads to drive to your waitlist. If you're still early in your product journey and want a clear roadmap from idea to manufactured product, I've put together a free guide called The Ultimate Guide to develop and launch a hardware product that walks you through all stages in order. Links in the description below. The second reason to avoid a marketing agency for a new product is that marketing a new product requires founder level understanding. No agency will ever understand your product, your customer, and your market as good as you do as the founder. When early marketing actually works for a new product, it's because someone deeply understands the problem that the product solves, who has that problem, and what language those people use to describe their frustration. An agency learns about your product in a kickoff call and maybe a couple follow up meetings. They might ask some decent questions, but they're never going to have the instinct for what makes your audience tick the way you do after spending months or years obsessing over this problem. You've been living inside this problem, and that depth of understanding is what makes early marketing actually connect with people. The best early marketing speaks directly to a real pain point using the customer's own words, and that kind of precision only comes from being close to the customer yourself. You know the exact frustration that made you build this product in the first place. And that's the kind of insight that turns a cold audience into paying customers. So even if an agency has talented designers and great copywriters, they're working from a shallow understanding of a product that they just met. You can't shortcut that depth of knowledge. And at this stage, a rough message that nails the customer's actual problem outperform a beautiful campaign that misses the mark every single time. The third reason to avoid a marketing agency is you need to be in the feedback loop. This is the one that most people miss entirely, and it might be the most important reason on this list. Early marketing isn't just about getting customers. It's a discovery process where you learn what resonates, what falls flat, and what people actually care about. When an agency runs your marketing, they become a wall between you and your market. You get a monthly report with some charts and metrics instead of real time learning from actual conversations with potential customers. Product creators who run their own early marketing talk to customers directly, read every comment, and see exactly which messages get responses and which ones get completely ignored. That feedback changes everything, not just the marketing, but the product itself, the positioning of the product, and your entire business strategy. Maybe you find out that the feature you thought was your biggest selling point barely registers, but a different feature you almost cut from the design is the one that gets people excited. You'd never learn that from an agency's monthly performance summary. If you take one thing from this video, make it this. Before you spend $1 on any kind of marketing help, have at least 20 real conversations with people in your target market, not friends or family, but actual potential customers who would buy your product with their own money. What you learn from those conversations will be more valuable than anything an agency could produce for you. Reason number 4 is that marketing agencies are built for scaling, not for discovery. Marketing agencies are really good at one thing: taking something that already works and doing more of it. Running proven campaigns at scale, optimizing conversion funnels, and managing ad spend efficiently are exactly where agencies earn their fees. That's incredibly valuable, but only after you've already figured out what works. For a new product, you don't know what works yet. You're in discovery mode, not scaling mode, and most agencies are not built for discovery. Their business model depends on repeatable processes and established playbooks, which is exactly why they're effective at scaling and exactly why they struggle with brand new products. When you hand them something with no validated messaging, no proven channels, and no customer data, well, they default to generic approaches. They'll apply the same campaign templates they use for every client, with broad targeting and generic messaging that doesn't speak to the specific concerns of your particular audience. So you end up paying top dollar for campaigns that weren't designed for your market. Then, when nothing works, the agency tells you it just needs more time and more budget, of course, and the meter keeps running. And 3 months later, you may find that you've spent $15,000 or $20,000, but you're no closer to understanding your own customer than you were when you started. Oh, and don't forget that free ultimate guide that I mentioned. It covers the full journey from idea to manufacturing all in one place, and the link's just in the description. Reason number 5 to avoid marketing agencies is you'll still have to learn your own marketing eventually. Even if you hire an agency and they somehow get traction, you still have to understand your own marketing at some point. You can't build a sustainable business on a black box that you don't understand as the founder. If the agency leaves or raises their rates, or you simply can't afford them anymore, well, you're back to ground zero. But now you've burned through months of budget and learned nothing. The founders who do best are the ones who figure out their core marketing themselves first, even if it's ugly and slow in the beginning. Because once you understand what works and why, then you can bring in help to do it better and faster. And that's when an agency actually makes sense, when you can hand them a proven playbook and say, go scale this. At that point, agencies are worth every penny. But that playbook has to come from you first, and there's no way around it. So start simple, pick one channel, and talk directly to your target customers. Pay attention to what gets a response, what questions people ask, what language they use, and what objections come up. Once you find a message that gets people to actually pull out their credit card or at least join a wait list, well, you've found something worth scaling. That's your marketing education, and no agency can hand it to you. If you want help building your product and figuring out how to bring it to market the right way, you can get guidance from me and other experts inside my Hardware Academy or with me inside my private mentoring program. And if you found this video helpful, then I'd suggest watching this video right here next.